Back once again. I got some cool stuff that we're finally getting into. So you can see we pulled the rear end out of the Chevelle. Once again, thanks to the buddies that came by. And even though we got it out, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. So as you can see, this thing is rusty. I mean, this thing has seen better days. So what we're going to do is we're going to strip it all. We need to take out all of the axles, well, the two axles from there. All right, now we're back. I got my buddy Steve-O here. Since we got the rear end out now, I've never taken the axles out before. And I've been hearing a lot of horror stories that if you don't get these out right and so on and so forth, you can pretty much damage your whole thing, and I'm gonna be starting from ground zero. I don't want to do that. Steve-O here, he actually owns a hot rod shop in Spartanburg. What's the name of your shop?
Southern Muscle and Classic Restoration.
And they turn out some really good stuff. So I wanted to just have an extra hand here, somebody who's experienced with this and can give me some tips. So we're looking at it right now, and my rear end is an open rear end, so it's not a closed diff, right?
Posi,
yeah. So this one's a little bit different, and a couple of things that we have to look at is whenever we pull out the C-clips and take the axles out, Steve was telling me about that we have to make sure that these gears are actually kept in place. There's a small washer or spacer right above these that if those move around, we could potentially have some issues. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out one axle and see how bad it is, just from my understanding, and to see if we can actually get this set up. This is the next step in the car, and pretty excited about it. And now that we're out here, we might be able to make some good progress with it today. So stay tuned, and we'll have some more stuff soon. Okay, so we can actually take this out, which is a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you videoing?
Yep.
Take this one out and see how it hits.
Uh-huh.
So we'll have to spin it whichever way is best. Looks like we may have to go down.
All the way down?
Yeah. Well, we may have to leave that in there.
Oh, okay. So it can actually stay in there.
Yeah.
Then. All right. You want to go down though, right? You said that.
Yeah, we want to. I normally pull this pin right out where it slips by.
Is there any way to mark anything since we're taking all this out, or?
No, because when I get it out, see, this is just a hole. When you put this back in, you just got to make sure that hole lines up.
Okay. Is there anything we should be concerned about or anything like that with it? Any scarring or anything like that?
No, I mean, you can see it's got a little bit of wear.
But nothing to really be concerned about, right?
That's not gonna, no.
Okay.
Not from a rear end smooth standpoint. I mean, the main thing is you don't want metal pieces to get in these spider gears and stuff.
Okay. Yep. So now I got a magnet. You said that's probably the best thing, right? So I can push in. Let's do this side.
Well, let's see. Let me get the magnet on here.
And all you're trying to do is just get that little clip off of there?
Yeah. See, you should be able to push it in now.
Okay. Tell me where.
Right there, you can see. Keep going. Right there.
All right, so this is the C-clip that everyone's always talking about and breaking at the tracks, right?
Yep. And if you break that,
the whole axle comes out, right?
Your axle and tire and everything's going out. And you can see it without the C-clip. It slides right down in that groove.
So what is that right there? That's part of the actual...
That's your axle splines.
Those axle splines? Okay. So I don't see any metal shavings or anything like that. Well, there's a little bit on there, actually. Is that a concern?
No. I mean
we're going to probably have some, I guess, right?
Yeah, you're going to have some. I mean, like, you got a little bit of rust, probably from the car sitting a little bit.
Yeah, plus the car.
Because you got to think, anything above oil line, that oil is going to eventually drain down, and it has a possibility of rust.
Well, this car actually flooded as well too, so I mean, well, both cars, because this axle's off of a different car that I had back home. Okay, so what's next?
You should be able to pull the axle out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's see. That's actually pretty easy. I thought there was a lot more to this. That's definitely see that we got some rust going on inside also, so we'll be cleaning it. We're putting some new studs on there as well. But you can see this passenger one, actually there was a leak there, so that I think that bushing or bearing was bad.
Oh yeah.
So cool. Well, this will wrap it up for today, and can't get that camera fixed. This will wrap it up for today. Well, right now we're just gonna stop here and get everything cleaned up, and once we start putting stuff back together, I'll have a second part of this video up. All right. Yeah. Focus today is going to get right back into it. You know, we last saw that, you know, we pulled the axles out, they had some rust in them, we found a whole bunch of stuff inside the differential. So really what I got to do next is, you know, this thing is covered in just all sorts of gunk over the years. We had fluid coming out of here, out of the sides and whatnot, so now's a good time to just kind of clean it up, right? After that, you see, we can get rid of some of this stuff that's in here. I really think what happened was, see, this car's been a kludge of several Chevelles put into one. I had a different rear end on here, but unfortunately something happened with it, and it just tore up the sun gear. And so when we replaced it out, this was off of another Chevelle that we had in our backyard back home, and this one came off of a car that also flooded. Because both cars actually flooded at one point where we had them, and with the seals being just done, I think water actually got in here, and that's what's causing some of the rust as well as some of the gunk that's in there. So it's an unfortunate find, but we're gonna get it cleaned up. Here's a fun little tip that I learned on the internet. I thought I would just try and share it. I tried it on the other side and it worked like magic for me. Last time you saw that I was trying to get in here with the screwdriver and pry these bushings out. As you can see, these things are covered in rust and just not really in good shape, right? So I did on the other side, just was not working. So I read somewhere online, if you just take the axle out and use that to pry it out, it should work. So let me show you guys what I did. You put the axle in here right before the actual bearing, and as you tip up, and you just kind of give it a couple of kicks like this. Well, it should have worked. Give me a second. Let's try this again. Well, it did work, but the whole thing is so rusted that it just does not want to come out. It's kind of hard. I'm doing this on jack stands, so you can see that thing is bending it like no other. Let's try this again. Whoops. Let's try this again. Here it comes. All right. That one was a little bit more difficult. So we've reached kind of a monumental stage today, and I'm pretty excited about it. Everything's clean underneath the car. You know, I didn't go for that show quality, nice and smooth and whatnot, taking all that prep, because that would just take way too much time. We're ready for this car to be back on the road. So Rear end has been sprayed. It's clean, ready to be put back in. All the brake lines are out. Next step, we're going to get underneath here, and we're going to actually be prepped. All this has already been prepped, and as you can see, all that spot down there is ready to be painted. So in a few minutes, I'm going to be spraying everything. I got the whole car masked. I got the whole area in the garage easily ventilated. So we should be spraying here in a few minutes, and looking forward to finally getting more progress on this. So stay tuned. I'll have an afterwards update for you all, and we'll see how it stays. Wish me luck.